Here we go. Welcome back to the BTO Sunday recap, week 3, and it looks a little different. No Kevin Bunk today. Jack Lydon stepping in. Jack Lydon, a new member of BTO Media. We'll get to that in a second. My name's Michael Merlo. Lots happened in week 3 today. Jack, let's start off. Welcome to BTO. Jack will be joining us, starting a new podcast coming out either this week or next week called The Band List. Very excited to listen to that. But Jack, it's been a while since we spoke before jumping on this call. How are you?
You know, it was a great couple months of lack of communication without you. But what I will say is to the fans of this podcast, to the oh so many fans of this podcast, I will say I'm happy to bring a new face onto this podcast because I know that people were getting really sick of Kevin Bunk's takes every Sunday night. So I'm very happy to be on here. And in all seriousness, thank you for welcoming me in. And I'm excited to get started.
Very nice. Well, we have a lot going on. The games still are not done yet. It's 7:20-ish as we start. So we're going to keep track of what's going on in this 49ers-Rams game, which is tied now under 2 minutes. We are going to start with a couple of the 1 o'clock games, though. And I do want to start in Minnesota because what the Vikings and Sam Darnold have done is just incredibly impressive. And nobody's giving, and I think now, this week, we're going to start giving Brian Flores and that defense credit. It's been an unbelievable job by Brian Flores, and he made CJ Stroud one of the, I think he's the third best quarterback in the league today. He made him look uncomfortable.
The surprising thing about this is that we've seen CJ Stroud succeed for 2 seasons, really without any failure. Of course, he didn't look all that well in Baltimore last year in the divisional round, but here's the thing about what Minnesota did today, right? Like you said, with Brian Flores, who has flourished as a defensive coordinator, is back to his days in New England, didn't do so well down in Miami as a head coach. But listen, this defense is for real. I don't know how much Sam Darnold can keep this pace up. He is Sam Darnold. He's not going to throw for 4 touchdowns every week as he did today. But listen, I mean, they made CJ Stroud look relatively pedestrian, 20 of 31, 215 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. He took 4 sacks as well. And I don't know. I mean, I respect the offensive showing that the Vikings have been able to put up so far, but it's really been their defense that's been able to shut it down. This is the first time in the regular season we've seen CJ Stroud look like a second-year player, right? This is the first time we've seen him look human in the past couple of seasons, and give credit to the Vikings. I thought this was going to be one of the better games of the week. It turned into a complete dud. And, turnovers in the first couple of possessions for Minnesota really got them off and running, and they never looked back.
Yeah, it's a great situation, too, to play in if you're Sam Darnold. We had spoken about that last week, the offensive line, Kevin O'Connell, and obviously the weapons they have on the outside. It's just a perfect situation for any quarterback to step in and play. And it's good to see Sam Darnold succeeding. I mean, you saw him up close and personal as a Pats fan playing with the Jets and how bad he was. He was seeing ghosts one night at MetLife Stadium against Bill Belichick. And now for this guy to turn into this, just shows it's all about coaching here. It's really just all about coaching and the talent around you, because he's making all of the right throws. It's more about decision-making and knowing what to do with the football, and even less about talent.
And I think that they're putting him in the right position, right? Like I think, in my opinion, he has the best wide receiver lining up on the outside every single snap for him and Justin Jefferson. But on the other hand, they had a great pickup in the offseason, kind of a sneaky pickup, getting Aaron Jones, swiping him up out of free agency from the Packers. He had over 100 yards today, no touchdowns, but he had a couple of big carries, one for nearly 40 yards as well. So, this balance, and we saw Sam Darnold get hurt for a little bit today. Nick Mullins was warming up on the sideline. This Sam Darnold honeymoon phase with the Vikings isn't going to last forever. I'm sorry. That's just
You don't think this lasts the whole year?
Well, I'm not going to say that the Vikings don't continue their success, but Sam Darnold, I mean, listen, he hasn't had like otherworldly stats, but he did throw for 4 touchdowns today, and 3 of them to wide receivers, Jefferson, Jones, and Naylor. Actually, all 4 of them to wide receivers. No tight ends in there today. So, listen, I mean, I think that Sam Darnold can continue to be a guy that can get them to the postseason. Do I think he can get them to the next level? No. But once again, I would rather have Sam Darnold quarterbacking my team than JJ McCarthy. I mean, you'll be quick to find out that I am not a JJ McCarthy fan. I'm sorry to all those Michigan fans out there. I never believed in him. I was scared to death of the Patriots drafting him. By the time he got down to 3, I was like, okay, the Pats got down to 3. I was like, they're probably not going to draft him. But what I will say is, you would have loved that, wouldn't you?
I would have.
But I don't know after today, Michael Merlo. We'll get into that a little bit later. You might have the best rookie so far. But I don't think Sam Darnold can continue this pace right now. He is he's just not that kind of guy. We haven't seen it for a full season from Sam Darnold in what now, 6 or 7 seasons dating back to the late 2010s. So at the end of the day, I do think that the Vikings make the playoffs. I picked them to win that division.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was between them and the Packers. I don't like the Lions to win that division this year. I do think we see some regression, as we did see last week when Tampa Bay stomped them at home defensively.
But you don't believe
this was impressive.
You don't believe in Darnold, but you don't believe in
No,
Darnold.
I don't.
How are you?
I don't.
He's them to win the division, and you don't like JJ, so it wasn't a JJ pick.
I like the defense.
Okay,
I like the defense.
That's crazy. That's some prediction, man.
I like the defense. I do. I still think
Green Bay. I think Green Bay might win this division.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like that is certainly a That's certainly like I think it's going to come down between those two, like the old school 2010 sort of coming down between the Vikings and the Packers, right? I don't know. Like to me, I like the makeup of this team. Like I said, I think that they have the best wide receiver in football in Justin Jefferson. He continues to prove it every single week. And you know, at the end of the day, I like the way they're coached. I like Kevin O'Connell and the way he runs that team. So they're a quarterback away from contention, but for now, I do think they can win that division.
Let's move on. I think this team could possibly be a quarterback away from doing a lot of things, and this might be a hot take. The Eagles and the Saints. This one came down to the wire. It shouldn't have. It was a disgusting, disgusting game. But the Eagles somehow escape New Orleans with the win. And by the way, the Saints are frauds. Like, I agree with CJ Gardner-Johnson and what he said after the game, if that was a true statement. Like, I think they are frauds. But the Eagles are also frauds. This is not a good football team, and they have a terrible head coach.
I don't think that they're only a quarterback away. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you might be right. That might be a stretch to say they're only a quarterback away. They might need more on that roster.
To me, I think they're a head coach away. And this is where I get to, am I allowed to give my first performer of the week right now?
Yeah,
or do you want me to wait?
You can give your performer of the week.
Bill Belichick is my performer of the week because he is going to be a coach in the NFC East in due time. Whether it's that clown show down in Dallas with Jerry Jones, who can't listen, there's a lot we could say about Jerry Jones that we'd rather save for a private discussion. Yeah. But he obviously cares passionately about his football team and the success of the football team. They're not cutting it right now. I don't care if they come back today against the Ravens. I would just like Ezekiel Elliott to get about 4 more yards.
I do care for financial purposes. I do care if they come back.
Listen, Bill Belichick will be a coach again in this league. We all know it. And I was an outspoken critic of his a year ago when he blatantly ruined Mac Jones and he sort of went back and forth with Bailey Zappi and the whole disaster that was the last 2 years in New England. But at the end of the day, you get him with one of the best defensive players. I mean, have you ever heard Bill Belichick go on and on about Lawrence Taylor? Wait till he gets his hands on Micah Parsons in Dallas.
I don't think some of those Dallas
or some of those front seven in Philadelphia. I think that if Bill Belichick, if Nick Sirianni, that clown, got fired tomorrow, Bill Belichick would go in and they'd win the Super Bowl. Because I think Jalen Hurts is good enough to be the quarterback of that team. I think he is. I think he gets a lot of flack.
Dallas has scored a touchdown. They're about to be an extra point away from being down 3 in this game, which is absolutely absurd. Either way, I don't think it'll be Dallas. I think it will be Philadelphia. I don't think Jerry wants and I'll put this in quotes because Jerry's a distraction.
Good point.
But
it's a good point.
A distraction. He's not going to want that. He wants to be the main focus. He's not the main focus if Bill Belichick's there. It's all about Bill. So he's not going to give up that power. I think Lurie down in Philadelphia, he's willing to do that, him and Roseman, especially Roseman, because if this roster doesn't work out, right, like he's not going to fire Howie Roseman, but he also has to sit there and say, I made a couple of mistakes with the head coach. I do need to bring in Bill Belichick, and we do need to work together. And Bill's not going to have full control like he did in New England. That's not going to happen again. He's going to have to work with a general manager, and I think he was willing to get a job this offseason. I think definitely next he will be. But I think it's Philadelphia. That's the spot. This team, if they make the playoffs, I still hold out they'll win the division. They're going to be a first-round knockout. That's what this team is at the max. And today, their defense stepped up finally and played well. But that offense, I know they're missing A.J. Brown, but just something is not right. Something is just minus A.J. Brown. Even with him there, something's not right.
That fourth down call, when they were at, I think it was in the first half. It was at the end of the first half. It was like 30 seconds left in the first half. And they ran the stupid tush push, which I have my own opinions on. But they faked the tush push and they went to with an end around to Saquon Barkley, and he got stuffed. And everyone, the Saints, were wise to it. You have a play, albeit I don't love the whole concept of the tush push, right? But you have a play that works 101 out of 100 times. I'm sorry, with that team, it does. Of course, they've gotten stopped a couple times, but that's pretty much unstoppable. It's one of the most unstoppable plays we've seen in NFL history. What are you doing dinking and dunking around to Saquon Barkley on an end around? There's 30 seconds left in the half. It's 3-0. Points are at a premium. Kick the field goal, you dummy, or get a first down with the only way you know how to from a yard out.
That's the thing. He's going for these, and it put points on the board. They have 3
He's trying to be smart. Michael, all of these young, hip coaches, and I'll save Sean McVay because I think he's one of the most talented minds in football. But the Dan Campbells, and I like Dan Campbell, but from a play calling perspective, the Dan Campbells, the Nick Siriannis, take the points. It's 3-0. Take the points. It's not like there was 2 minutes left in the half either, Michael. There was 30 seconds. With an offense that's done nothing in 29 minutes and 30 seconds, you think that you're going to be able to get in easily if you get that fourth down? Take the points. They won the game. Good for them. They should have taken the points. Absolutely in that scenario.
There are spots where I think you take your point. I mean, you go for it. You get aggressive. There are, Dan Campbell is ultra aggressive. These younger minds, they're ultra aggressive. Yes, the analytics tell you to go for it, but when there's not many points on the board already, if they were down 7, if they were down 10, yeah, go for it. They're up 3. You can tie it. You can take a lead in some cases, and yet we're still not going for it. Saquon was big for them this week. Obviously, I mean, he's just it's not surprising, right? They have a good offensive line. They have good offensive weapons. They have a good run scheme. But it is frustrating to watch. Even though, any running back would succeed in that system, it's still very frustrating to watch.
Can we talk about taking a lead really quick?
What?
Because the Los Angeles Rams just kicked a game-winning field goal.
I can't believe the Rams just kicked that field goal. We're going to talk about them in a minute. We'll stay with the Eagles Saints here very quickly and then move on in chronological order.
Well, what else do you want to talk about from the game? I think Nick Sirianni is an idiot. I think Derek Carr is gonna be Derek Carr at some point in the season.
That was my next question. The Saints are frauds. We're in agreement here that the Saints are frauds.
Well, yeah, because you look at their big win last weekend. I think Dallas is a fraud. The thing about the NFL, it's such a good product. I saw a tweet today that said we should have to only pay $5 for a Sunday ticket because most of these teams suck. And that's kind of true. Most of these teams kind of suck.
I can't believe what's happening in this Dallas game right now. I can't believe I'm about to lose so much money on this game right now, potentially. If they come back and win, I'm sorry. Henry just slipped on a 2nd and 8. I mean, it's remarkable what's happening right now. It's absolutely remarkable what's happening right now. Well, but yeah, the product has stunk early on. I will agree. It has stunk.
Yeah, continue, because I could go on for 15 minutes about this. You don't want to. This is an
NFL podcast too. We're not going to trash the NFL. Okay, we're talking about the NFL here. Okay. The Bears and the Colts. I mean, this is really just like what's going on with the Bears here, because they have weapons. Their offensive line isn't bad. They should be running the football, and the defense has played very well, and yet something's not clicking. Yes, it's a rookie quarterback, but like, shouldn't this look a little better? Like, shouldn't this operation look slightly better than it does right now? Because they look like an absolute mess on offense.
Michael, they didn't run for more than 9 yards in a single down today. Their longest run was 9 yards. DeAndre Swift had 13 carries for 20 yards. They can't figure it out up front. I don't know what it is. You said the offensive line's not bad, but Caleb Williams has had no time to throw.
Well, I'm saying coming into the season, like on paper.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, I was gonna say, are we watching two different Bears games here?
No, because they haven't protected them. No,
you haven't protected your number one pick, and I get it. Like, but to me though, it's like, why do you go with Odunze at 9? And I'm not trying to like. This is not revisionist history here. Like, I think Odunze is going to be a solid player, but wouldn't you rather? I don't know what the situation was. I'm pretty sure one of those top offensive linemen was still there.
They could have got the guy, the Penn State tackle, the Jets.
Fashanu.
Yeah, they could have got Fashanu if they wanted.
He is your blind side protector to your rookie number one quarterback, your supposed savior of the franchise.
But instead, you have apparently figured out.
They don't.
Like, listen, coming into the season, they thought they had the tackles figured out. Listen, I'm always for let's take more offensive linemen. They had Braxton Jones. Braxton Jones got an extension in the offseason. They drafted a kid from Tennessee last season when they traded back. Like, they've invested in their offensive line. They have
this game was like sneaky bad too, like on really both sides.
Because Richardson can't play. I was on the Anthony Richardson bandwagon, and I am now jumping off of it. He can't play. He is way too backyard.
I don't know about that, Michael. I mean, listen, like, he has shown flashes to be a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. Okay. That throw he made, like 70 yards in the air in week 1 with a defender right in his face.
Obviously insane. Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I don't even need the flashes. What's more telling is what he does when he makes that flip into the end zone with 3 guys in front of him and he throws an interception. They can't get points. That's what's telling for me.
So I was watching Red Zone, and they cut to that, and I was watching it with my father. I was watching it with my father. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, "That was Mac Jones last year." That was like yips level bad. That was one of the worst throws I've seen in quite some time. And I saw that Mac Jones throw in Germany a year ago.
We've seen Will Levis too this season.
Oh my God. I don't think we have enough time to get to Will Levis.
Will Levis stinks.
He's terrible. That's something that we're not gonna argue on that, Mike, because that's
I have a first topic for the ban list. Will Levis, done. He's on that. Done. I'm out. I will not bet the Titans again this year. Clearly, I bet the Titans twice this year. I'm out on them. I will not bet them once.
Will Levis is I don't think he was even considered to be on the unbanned list. I think that he was just by default on the banned list. Like, this guy has worms in his brain. Like, he has no idea. And granted, the offensive line's not good. He doesn't have a lot of time to throw. It's constantly a crumbling pocket, but he still makes stupid decisions, and young quarterbacks make stupid decisions. And when you don't have a good offensive line, and you don't have that great of a defense, and you don't have one of the best running backs in the National Football League anymore in your backfield, that's what happens.
Yeah, it's clear what's happening with that team right now. And go back to the Colts, go back to the Bears. Just really not great football at the moment. I'm trying to see if we have an end to this game, because the next game we're going to talk about is the Ravens and the Cowboys. I don't know if we do yet. Please, oh my God, he almost fumbled, or Henry almost fumbled. A perfect tackle. He did not. Seems as though they're going to win this game, but you never know. Let's move, though, to the game you were talking about. The Rams come back and win this game completely decimated by injury. Their offensive line, I didn't even give them a chance. I didn't look at this game. I didn't want props in this game. I wanted nothing in this game because of how bad the offensive line for the Rams was going to be today. And without Kupp and Puka, they were able to win a big football game today really at home, but it's always a road game, especially when San Francisco comes to play.
Matt Stafford was steady and cool as usual. He didn't do that. He didn't do anything spectacular. 16 completions, 221 yards, and a touchdown. That's it. That's all he does. And Kyron Williams continues to churn up defenses on the ground. Do you see that flip he had into the end zone? I think that was to make it a 7-point game at the time. Tutu Atwell with nearly 100 yards receiving. That had to be a career high. He had a big 50-yard completion. That was the majority of the yards. But the defense stepped up in the second half. They allowed 10 points to a Niners team that, they got a lot of listen, this game was sort of unfortunate for a fan because of how many great playmakers there are on both sides that were unavailable. Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, of course. And then on the other side, you have the top two receivers for the Rams in Kupp and Puka Nacua. But the Rams did a great job. I mean, listen, Juwan Jennings was burning them in the first half. 11 receptions, 175 yards. I don't have what he did in the second half, but it couldn't have been that much. It couldn't have been like equal stats first half and second half, because the Rams, 10 points in the second half. That's pretty good for a defense that doesn't have Aaron Donald, that's missing a lot of players, overall in that defense.
That's a good job.
It's a fantastic job by the Rams. 13 points in the fourth quarter, once again, without your top two receivers. That's a gutsy comeback win, and they fall to 0-3. You're talking about a whole different season. Instead, you're 1-2. You have the tiebreaker over the 49ers right now. I know it's super early, but that might play down the season.
No, your season's over. You lose this game. Now it's like you have a chance here. Like, you have a chance to survive here, even with your injuries. So that's a huge win, because, again, it felt like it was done. It felt like the game was over. It felt like the 49ers were just going to win this game. And that was it. It was going to be, maybe they make it close at the end. I'm absolutely shocked that they won this game. We have a final in Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys almost came back. They end up losing to the Ravens at home. This is, again, the same situation. The Ravens, desperate for a win. You can't start 0-3, and they don't. They win this game. They're 1-2. Dallas has some issues. We're going to get into those right now. I don't like the makeup of this team. I don't think they have enough weapons on offense. I think they're really top heavy on defense. They draft well and do different things well with, linebackers and whatever, but I'm concerned about this Dallas team.
A lot of people were asking after the Cleveland game in week 1, was that a Dallas masterclass or a Cleveland suckfest? I think we have our answer. I think that was just a Cleveland suckfest.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Dallas...
When Cleveland loses to the Giants at home, we got problems.
Derrick Henry had his coming out party today.
Yep.
25 carries, over 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His coming out party with the Ravens, of course. He's done that plenty of times with Tennessee in the past. Lamar Jackson did what he had to do again, and Dak Prescott did not have a bad afternoon. He did not.
A lot of it
At
in
all.
garbage time, though, coming back. I mean, it ends up not being garbage time, but coming back in the game. Yeah. I mean, we're playing against prevent defense here. Come on. The numbers look a little better.
That's fair. It's a tad inflated, but he didn't turn the ball over. Right? He didn't turn the ball over, I don't believe. And
I don't think he did either. CD had a fumble when they were going in.
But listen, like, I still think Dallas wins a lot of games this year. They are built for the regular season. But one thing that's concerning to me that I find very, very interesting and perhaps telling of the buy-in of this team, Dallas is 0-2 at home.
Yeah.
That is uncharacteristic. I'm pretty sure there was a stat last year going, they won like 15 in a row at AT&T Stadium.
Yeah,
and that's Jerry's world, man. It's supposed to be easy wins on, in prime time, doubleheader games on Sunday afternoon against the Ravens. That's supposed to be a spot that you have a serious home field advantage in, and they got decked right from the start against the team that just comes off a crushing defeat at home to the Raiders. I mean, you're looking at the Cowboys right now. They get destroyed. Their defense is just pitiful right now.
And these 2 straight games here, you lose both of them at home. You get smacked in the face early. You want to ask what Jerry Jones cares about the most, right? Ask Jerry Jones. He cares about the fans. He's a good owner, in terms of what the fans want. You know what I mean? Like, he wants,
ethically probably not.
Well, yeah, but he cares about what his fans come to the stadium to watch, and they have seen some crap football early on. And, if there's going to be anything to move him here, I'm not saying change is coming, but they have to fix this, and they have to fix this fast because, listen, they do have an easy win this week coming up on Thursday night against the Giants. Like, they're 2-2. They're already, you can put the 2 right there. They're 2-2 already. They're going to their second home up in Jersey. But either way, I mean, it is concerning as Kyle Schwarber hits the ball to center field. It's deep at the.
All right, we're not doing play-by-play.
Oh, at the track, he makes the catch.
We're not doing play-by-play here.
I have a chance. We're not. I have a chance. Let's hit how diehard a fan I am. Just very off topic before we get to the Giants. I have a chance to go to the Yankees-Orioles game this week, and I'm not going, so I could sit home and watch the Mets in Atlanta.
I would do the exact same thing.
Okay, so I am
would die for a playoff race. I am 100%. You're doing the right thing.
Okay,
100%. Yeah, not even close.
Okay.
Can I give you your flowers?
Give me my flowers, baby. Let's go. Those New York Football Giants.
Neighbors is winning Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He's a problem.
I mean, that move in the end zone, I believe it was to score his second touchdown. They were saying on the broadcast, a safety was covering him. Yeah, a safety is covering him. There's no chance. If you're going to keep being stupid, he's going to put up like 15 touchdowns this year. If they're going to keep being stupid and covering him. Malik Neighbors is a problem. He's going to be a number 1 wide receiver for a long time if the Giants don't screw him up, which is definitely not out of the question.
How could they screw him up? How could they screw a receiver up? I mean, he has Daniel Jones and he looks like a 1.
He was terrific today. He was so impressive. And
Daniel or Malik?
Malik.
Okay.
And I know that, well, Danny Dimes did what he had to do.
Yeah, I mean,
today.
A couple mistakes, but yes, he was good. He was good today.
Listen, the Giants aren't going anywhere this year. The main goal is to develop Malik Neighbors, right? And get him comfortable, whether or not Daniel Jones is the quarterback of the future. And I don't think he should be. I think that contract is one of the worst in sports.
He's not the future. We can move past that.
Well, he is for now. So get comfortable as the number 1 receiver because you're going to be the number 1 receiver for a long time in New York. So, listen, he was terrific today. The Browns are a disaster, as they always are, always have been, always will be. But I was really, really impressive. I'll tell you one thing, Michael. I had American currency on the New York Football Giants straight up today.
Oh,
Straight up. I'm telling you.
on
I
the spread or the money line?
money line. I had a feeling, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Why'd you text me in the ceiling? I didn't have a feeling. Like, I knew they were the side. Like, I knew bet them plus 6.5, but like I didn't have the guts to do it. I bet the Panthers and Broncos for whatever reason and won, and I'm a very happy man today. But I didn't have the balls to do the Giants, and yeah, look at that. Look at you hitting the Giants money line. All right.
Yeah.
And the Browns are a joke. The Browns are a joke.
The Browns are a joke. Can I give my performer of the week now? My real performer of the week?
Yeah, let's hear your performer of the week.
All right.
And maybe a little Pats talk.
Well, there's certainly not anybody from there. Bo Nix is my performer of the week.
Let's go.
I don't like Bo Nix. And I hate the Broncos, and I hate Sean Payton too.
Why do you hate Sean Payton and the Broncos?
I think he's too outspoken. I don't think he's done enough. People consider him like an all-time great head coach. I don't go there with him. He was paying guys to get their heads knocked off or to knock people's heads off in 08.
Yeah.
And I, as a Patriots fan, am just so 100% against cheating. So I would hate to see anybody try to mess with the integrity of the game.
No, I get
he
that.
did what he had to do, though.
Yeah. No, you have respect for the game. No
25 of 36, 216 yards. But the reason why I'm picking Bo Nix as my performer of the week is not because of his stat line this week necessarily or the final score. It's because of the lack of enthusiasm that we as a public have had about these rookie quarterbacks so far. And that'll all change when Drake May gets in.
They stink.
They're not good. And it was refreshing to see a young quarterback have command of the pocket, get outside the pocket, run when he has to, but throw first, find his receivers. Cortland Sutton had a great day today, and they took care of business on the road. That's a really, really impressive first win for the Broncos and Bo Nix. And I don't think the Broncos are any good. I don't think Bo Nix is necessarily any good, but he can get out of the pocket, man. He can throw it on the run. He has an arm. I know he's 35 years old, but he was good today.
No, he can make plays. I think the one thing about these rookie quarterbacks is that, I think Tom Brady had said this a couple of weeks back, you don't give them enough time. These guys, it's very difficult for them to come into this league and perform right away. It's very rare you see guys like CJ Stroud just come in and dominate this league. It's all about coaching in your situation, that especially with these rookies. And I think out of all of these guys right now, in terms of the coaching, maybe not the weapons around him, but the coaching, I'm starting to get on this bandwagon of maybe Sean Payton all time is a little overrated. But as of right now, he's still a good offensive mind, an offensive mind you'd want to be your head coach. And I think this is the perfect situation for Bo Nix because Bo's sitting here with a coach that basically has the quarterback that if he could kind of hand make him, he would make somebody kind of like Bo Nix, a mobile guy that can make the short intermediate throws. Kevin was all over this when they drafted him. He loved Bo Nix to the Broncos. I didn't think it would happen. It does. It is, I don't know. I think this works here with Bo Nix, though, in the Broncos.
It could. I think there's a little bit of a stink with the Broncos, similarly to the Jets right now. I think there's just a little bit of Broncos stink, especially quarterback wise after the whole Russell Wilson thing and really everything since Peyton Manning's retired.
The roster stinks.
It's not good.
Terrible.
So, do I think this could be a turning point for the Broncos, long term? Yes. Do I think that they're going to rip off 5 wins in a row? No. But I liked what I saw from Bo Nix. Once again, he just commanded the game. He managed the game, and he won their team a game. And sometimes that's all you have to do. You just have to win games. You don't have to put up 350 yards. Would you rather have Bo Nix stat line and a Broncos win, or Dak Prescott stat line and a Cowboys loss? Just win the game. It's about the result of the ball game, and Bo Nix did enough for his team to win the game. He didn't turn the ball over, and he did what he had to do.
Bo does enough. Who will do enough tonight, Jack? A very interesting game. I have a side I like in this game, although I think number is bad at this point. I like the Falcons to cover against the Chiefs at home tonight. It's 3. I would buy it to 3.5. If I could get it to 3.5, I would. But I really like the Falcons here, as this line has moved big time all week.
The Falcons, listen, like we talk about stink, right? We talk about like a stench being on a franchise. I'm not even going to bring up the reason why. You know why. There's a stink on the Falcons franchise.
Are you not allowed to say the reason why?
Kirk Cousins did a great job manufacturing that comeback. And I'm no Kirk Cousins guy, but I mean, I'll be like, the Eagles defense was Swiss cheese on that last possession on Monday night. But throw after throw after throw. I mean, the difference between how he looked in week 1 to how he looked last Monday night in Philly was like 2 different quarterbacks. So I think he rides that momentum into tonight. I like Bijan a lot tonight in the receiving game as well. They didn't really get him involved too much in the first half last week. I think they do get him more involved, especially with Pacheco down. Chiefs are kind of hurt. They almost lost to the shorthanded Bengals a week ago. I like the Falcons, unless the refs have something to say about it. I do like the Falcons. I do like that number of 3.5. Obviously, that
I buy to 3. I gotta buy it right now. Actually,
they're not going to give it to you at 3.5. Obviously, it's the same thing as like, right? You know, I know it's a 3. So I like it. I like the Falcons. I also do like sort of a grudge match. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. But you know, at the end of the day, like I was sort of thinking at the end, like 26-24 Kansas City or something like that. I do like the Falcons to cover. I do think it's a really close game. I guess 26-24 would sort of counteract my under prediction, but something like that. Like
that's good job, Jack. No, that's a good job.
I'm a Vegas spy. I think it'll be close. Like, you know, if Patrick Mahomes has the ball in his hands with 1:50 left, down by 1, like we know what's gonna happen. But it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's going to be one of the best games of the week, especially because we have 2 duds tomorrow. And I promise you, they will both be duds. Both of them.
That'll be interesting. I'm excited for that Jaguars-Bills game.
Yeah, I mean, Michael, anytime...
I'm going to have a decent amount on the Jaguars tomorrow.
Anytime that you give me 2 football games on a weekday night, I'm there. Anytime you give me any football, I'm there. But give me 2 football games on a weekday night, I'm there. I'm so there.
Yeah,
like,
and with the Sox out of contention, I mean, you really have nothing going on tomorrow.
Yeah, so all right. So anyways, moving on. The last thing can I have a closing take?
Yeah, have a closing take before we get out of here.
All right. Gerard Mayo, I know you're listening. Do not play Drake May one more snap this season. I want him inactive next week in San Francisco. I want him as far away from this offensive line as physically possible. Send him to Mars if you have to. There is no way. I watched that. I'm sure you did too, because I know you're a big Drake May guy. Listen, that step up into the pocket with Layden Robinson.
Are you actually examining what he did in that garbage time? Are you actually sitting there watching him?
The only throw I examined was the 4th down, where he stepped up in the pocket. He evaded the rusher. Good chip block by Layden Robinson, the rookie, who otherwise had a unfortunate night. Stepped up in the pocket, found, I believe, KJ Osborne over the middle. He wasn't scared of the rush. I mean, he got decked like 40 times in 2 plays. Like, it was impossible how much they hit him. Granted, it was 80% the backup offensive line.
Right.
But these are the same issues we saw in the preseason. You know, he shows flashes here and there, but at the end of the day, the operation is not clean. And you can't trust a rookie quarterback that we knew was going to be a project with an offensive line that's not good. So don't play him another snap. This season's over. We always have the 16-10 Cincinnati game in week 1. This season's over. It's about developing Drake May behind the scenes in practice. Get him ready for next season when you're serious about spending money for the offensive line. The fact that they don't have an offensive left tackle right now is absurd. They don't have one, Michael. It's literally like they're going out with 10 players.
Yeah, but like you also, it's not a great recipe to spend money on your offensive line. A lot of the times, spending money on your offensive line in free agency is not the way to go. Like, yeah.
No. Definitely don't spend money on your offensive line for your rookie quarterback. Definitely don't do that. You're right.
You don't understand what I'm saying. You don't understand what I'm saying. Most of the time, when teams go out there and try and build their offensive line through free agency, it doesn't work.
No, I mean, listen,
I'm not disagreeing with you. You have to spend something on the offensive line if you don't have guys. But
you have a point.
Offensive lineman.
You have a point, and the Patriots are sort of living proof of that when they signed Chuks Okorafor, who is no longer in the building. He left. He's just gone. Do you know about that story?
No, I don't. But if you guys made the trade with the Giants, you could have had Malik Neighbors and an offensive lineman this year.
Yeah.
And then next year, a quarterback and an offensive lineman. Just so you know. Wait, no.
And who at quarterback?
Sorry.
Who at quarterback?
You wouldn't have had Malik Neighbors. You had an offensive lineman this year, and then you would have had a quarterback and an offensive lineman.
Who at quarterback?
Year. I don't know. Whoever you draft next year.
I don't think that. Just thinking about my relatively moderate knowledge of college football, I cannot think of one quarterback who's going to declare next year that I would want to touch with a 10-foot pole in terms of having him on my team.
Well, I'm going to have to be looking at that. But what's the story?
Well, yeah. Good luck with Shedeur Sanders and him playing perfect timing after every touchdown.
He's not. We want Cam Ward. That's who we want.
Another 35-year-old, just like Bo Nix.
That's fine. I don't care what age they are. Bring them over.
Yeah, bring them over. I do like the Falcons tonight, though. At +3.
I just bet it at 3.5.
Yeah, I'm just giving advice. I don't do that kind of stuff. But
okay.
I do like the Falcons tomorrow night. Just really quickly.
The Falcons play tonight, dude.
No, yeah, I know they're playing tonight, Michael. I'm looking at the games tomorrow.
You said tomorrow. Oh, okay.
Buffalo 5.5, easy.
Nope, I'm on that idea.
7.5 in the Bengals Commanders game is tough. I'd rather hit the over in that game, actually.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of points scored.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. This was a lot of fun, dude. This
was a lot of fun. I'm glad to take over Kevin Bunk's spot. And permanently. Really happy to do that. I hope he's watching this, Kevin. If you are watching, seriously though, thanks for the opportunity for me to come on, and I'm excited to get started here and talk a lot more about bad takes that I have.
Yes, we're very much looking forward to listening to your gambling takes. The ban list coming out either this week or next week. Stay tuned for that. Kevin will make the announcement, and the hard line out twice this week. We'll talk to you guys when we see you.